Okay, yes, let's just finish off the last of the medicine here. Yeah, so as usual, this is only going one way. I've made a commitment not to check any comments or to interact with people about my videos online. One of the reasons is that it's very clear. I can see on other content creators that I watch on YouTube, for example, you can see the effect psychologically it's having on them engaging with with people online, reading comments. Yeah, it's really not good for us. So as content creators or YouTubers, or even just using social media, it's, I don't know, I'm not a scientist, so I don't know, but just I've got a very strong sense that that this is the case. So I've made a commitment not to respond, not to interact with people online in the comments section, whether it's on social media or on YouTube. So this is only going one way, just so people understand. So it's basically pointless leaving a comment or a like or anything like that. Yeah, I can see a lot of content creators just getting really caught up with with comments and stuff, whether it's good comments or bad comments or whatever. It's just like pulling your awareness. It's sucking your awareness, and it's draining your life force into something that is mostly online, that really has not much to do with with your life, with your real practical life, which is your work, your family, and your friends, your face-to-face friends in real life. So those are the only things that I would want my attention to be drawn to. A lot of what is happening online is useless and counterproductive and psychologically harmful. There are some exceptions, obviously, and those exceptions are the reasons why I'm making these one-way videos to put on Facebook and YouTube. Because there are some people out there who may benefit from these videos, and also it may benefit me to make some recording as a kind of diary, basically, to keep a track of things. It's very useful. I can get a transcript from these videos, and then I can use various digital tools to analyze the transcript and to organize it, and to get an idea of to get to organize future videos, to make it clear, to organize my thoughts, basically, right? Yeah. Yeah. So with all that out of the way, yeah, it's I'm getting better from a kind of health condition. Quite quite difficult. I think the most difficult thing that I've been through in my life so far, I went through was, for lack of like a health condition, but it was not just a physical, it was more of a kind of emotional, energetic, imbalance. It was an imbalance in my psychosomatic. It was a psychosomatic imbalance. If people are familiar with like what is Vata, like Vedic wind, what is the prana energy? The psychosomatic, psychophysical. The psyche. This is the problem with human beings, is that we tend to be very keen on labeling things. We have a tendency to discover something and then give a name. But this is can be a limitation. Of course, it's a good thing that we have this. It gives us the ability to invent things, and it's gotten us a long way and made us civilized and industrialized and things. But according to like more better wisdom, it's better to once we discover something and then give a name, then we forget about it, because this labeling process of human beings, it has only one useful function, and that is to allow us to take one more step ahead in our capabilities. But once we've made that step, then we can forget about this labeling, because things will change and we will come up with a more precise labeling in the future, and then so forth, and things will just continue to be refined. So anyway, perhaps now that we've come this far in the video, if you're still watching, then perhaps we've laid the foundation for some context to try to understand what what I went through, and and stuff. It was a psychosomatic imbalance. Let me just see here if I can use Copilot to kind of help me explain here. Let me just get a new chat going. What's going on here? Okay, how do we start a new chat? New chat. Okay. So, what is in Chinese it would be called qi deviation. In Chinese, like when you mess up your qigong Neigong practice and end up with an energetic imbalance. Let's see what it says. So I asked the question, what is qi deviation in Chinese? Like when I mess up, when you mess up, your qigong, neigong practice and end up with an energetic imbalance. Okay, so yeah. So answer is qi deviation in Chinese is most commonly called 走火入魔. Maybe if Chinese speakers, you probably know this. Okay. Literally, fire runs astray and enters the demonic realm. So, kind of a weird name, but it's just a name. It's just a label. But so the modern meaning is not supernatural. So yeah, as I'm trying to say here, it's just a label, but it's not necessarily exclusively a supernatural thing. It refers to energetic, psychological, or somatic, psychosomatic disturbances caused by incorrect or excessive internal practice such as qigong, neigong, meditation, or internal alchemy. Or it could probably also be like kundalini sickness, like if you mess up your yoga practice, or your Vedic tantric practice, perhaps. I think that's all we need to know. I think if I continue reading this, it's just going to take up a lot of time. But what qi deviation actually means, takeaway. It's a cluster of psychophysiological disturbances, as I said, psychosomatic, psychophysiological disturbances triggered when practice is forced, misaligned, rushed, or done without proper guidance. Yeah, so basically that's what happened. That's what happened to me. I had been doing, I had started Tai Chi Chuan when I was quite young, when I was 16, and of course there's a Qigong, Neigong aspect to that, but it's not really something that you focus on. It's more integrated in the practice, and it's not really it's not like you're really focusing on that and concentrating energy within the body, which is what you're doing in an actual Neigong focused practice. So my teachers, they always warned me, don't mess around with Neigong meditation. It's a little bit dangerous, if you can, if you mess it up, it's shit can happen, and just do Tai Chi. Tai Chi is it's a very balanced thing. Yeah, it has some Qigong and Neigong integrated in it, but you don't focus on that, and it just trains that up naturally without focusing on it. But I was always curious about it. Even though people warned me not to do it, and it's not to say you can't do it. It's if you have a very good instructor, a very good or a solid lineage, a solid transmission for that, so that they have a long tradition in one line, that they have the knowledge and the know-how to help you if things go wrong, then probably it's okay, and they can progressively train you and help you to build foundation and stuff. So but yeah, it was when I was this was going on too long. Yeah, fast forward to when I was like in my late 20s, early 30s, then I started looking online for some Neigong stuff, and I found Damo Mitchell, who provides pretty good Neigong material, and shows you teaches you how to do it, and says, this can be dangerous, so blah blah blah. But the problem was, I think with Neigong, it's pretty safe if you have a balanced life already. If your diet, your sleep, your exercise, and your mind, like you already have social interaction and stable family life and stuff. The foundation of your life is stable, and you're in stable good health, and then you're doing it. It's probably okay. But in my case, I had been traveling around and felt a little bit anxious about this and that, didn't have stable work, didn't know, wasn't fully committed to a healthy diet, or I thought I was healthy, but I was like, should I be vegetarian? Should I be vegan? Should I eat meat? And then it was a little bit sometimes trying to be vegetarian, a little bit having a little bit of meat here. Oh no, maybe I should be vegan. And then, so, I was not stable. I was not really in good health, to be honest. And I was doing it. And I was also drinking coffee, drinking a little bit of alcohol, and smoking cannabis. And because, obviously cannabis, it has the effect of kind of enhancing your mind-body connection in some way. And so it does actually make the effect of Neigong training a little bit stronger, but not necessarily in a good way, kind of in an unbalanced way, can be unbalanced way. And I was doing this over a long period of time, like 3 or 4 or 5 years, and things were getting worse. My sleep pattern was getting worse. I was getting more, the energy in my body was getting more, disordered, and I just kept doing it. And the signs to stop were all there, and things were just getting worse and worse. And eventually, got to the point where I was hardly sleeping. I couldn't, there was too much vibration, just random energy vibrating around in my body, and I could hardly sleep during the night or during the day. Just, this kind of tired and wired, feeling, condition of the body and the brain and the mind and everything was just, and yeah. So yeah, at some point, I was doing it quite strong, and then I could feel, well, something is not right here. Okay, I stopped, but it was already too late. And then I stopped it for like a few days, but then everything was already just disordered, and something went pop, kind of like a fuse blew or something, and it was almost like a bomb went off in my nervous system, and my head started ringing, like, or just not even many different sounds, and it's still there, it's still going away, but yeah, and then it started getting worse, and then both my ears started ringing, like bilateral tinnitus in both ears, and lots of different like tones and stuff would come and go, but then there would be this tone, this quite strong one that kind of was in the center, but in both, and a lot of different noises and things, but quite a strong one that was just there constantly, and very, very unsettling, like quite bad, and yeah, quite bad, like almost suicidal level tinnitus, but not coming from because my whole energy system just vibrating really crazy, and that was going through my brain and obviously vibrating the auditory cortex and my receptors in my ears, and just creating a lot of phantom sound, and like my dantian, which I had been using for the practice, was just heating up like a ball of sun or magma, and very hot inside my body, and just random vibrations, and it was bad, and I was almost thinking negative thoughts. Let's just say that I already said the S word, so people already understand, but this is how bad it can get. And luckily it didn't get any worse. And I called people that I knew that I thought might be able to help me, and it turned out that they couldn't really help. And then I had to really go in search of a practitioner that could help me. And I went through a few different acupuncturists. I went through a couple of energy healers, and I went through a few other things. I went and spoke to Buddhist monks in monasteries, and they helped me. All these people helped me a little bit, but no one really had all the answers. Until I met one very good practitioner who was doing acupuncture as well as some Tibetan medicine, and he had actually had a similar experience. He had disordered his energy with some yogic practice when he was younger, and so he went through a similar experience to myself, and that was how he was able to help me, because he had been through that experience, and he himself had traveled around to try to find practitioners that could help him, and gotten little bits from everyone until he finally came across a transmission that of a certain lineage, of a certain kind of Buddhist practice that basically had the answers that could help him. Had the treatment and the herbal remedies, the treatment modalities, and acupuncture, things that could help him. So yeah, I'm almost better, but it's taken almost a year. Like, it's taken basically a year for this to get better, and it's still not quite. My sleep is a little better. Not as bad as it was, but I'm still not quite. I'm almost better. Like, I'm almost better, but it's still taking some time, and still taking the medicine to get better. So yeah, be careful. Whatever you do.